Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stacia Lampert. I'm the student trustee here at UMass Boston, the student delegate to the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees. I'm pleased to see that we're all able to gather here today to discuss and reflect upon university affairs. The tides of change appear to be encroaching upon us. As yet another semester begins to conclude, we adjust to a different season, we negotiate through a seemingly insurmountable workload, and we of course note the ominous appearance of construction equipment on campus grounds. Whether large or small, we are aware that a variety of shifts are about to take place. So here today we have, to help us reflect upon this past year and changes to come, one of the most valuable members of the community here at UMass Boston. Chancellor J. Keith Motley often talks to us about leadership, the dedication and concern of student leaders on this campus, the extraordinary accomplishments of faculty, the indispensable organizing prowess of staff. But we cannot forget about the leadership that Chancellor Motley contributes to this campus. Indeed, as he helps us navigate a 25-year master plan to update the campus, as well as materialize his strategic vision for a university that is public, urban-centered, and research-intensive with a teaching soul, it is most evident just how valuable that leadership is. And we are only at the beginning. Since his appointment in 2007, we've seen a 200% growth in university private development funding. We've seen considerable growth in faculty research funding, and as well as numerous ventures to engage the campus community and provide a wide variety of opportunities for students here on campus. There is much to look forward to in the near future, and it is for those reasons that I am pleased to introduce to you the very person suited to articulate and help materialize that vision of the future. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Chancellor J. Keith Motley.
So much. Where you going? It's your seat right there. First of all, I want to say to Stacia, it's been an unbelievable journey with this young lady right here. She has been a tremendous trustee. She sat with a vote at a wonderful time in the history of the University of Massachusetts, and particularly our campus, and voted in our new president, but also will be there to talk about the future, our fees, and other things coming up in the meetings that we'll have in a few. And so I'm so grateful to you for your leadership. She also told me this morning that she's going to nurture our newest trustee and make sure that the transition from her leadership to the next leadership is seamless. And I'm so grateful for that. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm so glad you came. I know we're going to have cake and all that stuff at the end, but I wanted to take the time today just to say a few things to you about where we are as a university, and also to thank you for all that you do. I am so grateful for you taking time out of your busy schedules to join me in reflecting on our great enterprise, the University of Massachusetts, Boston. In preparation for a long season of construction last fall, I told you that I was hopeful of seeing you all with mud on your shoes. I didn't make that wish solely or simply out of excitement regarding construction, or because I simply want to be better dressed than all of you on campus and have cleaner shoes. I made that wish out of the desire for us all to spend the next several years deeply mired in the site and locus of human creativity and also human capacity. Too often, when we think of mud, we think of it as an irritant. We think of it as a sticky substance which, after the rain, splatters on our clothing, our cars, our homes, our furniture, and other adornments. Despite its ubiquitous presence on the earth, we, particularly those of us in the post-industrial world, will walk, drive, and travel wide distances to avoid contact with it. Yet it's the stuff to which our young children, and many of you have them, in their earliest years, and you in your earliest years have a nearly irresistible attraction to. You can barely wait to get your hands and feet into the miry clay, forming hills and valleys. I know I did it, constructing castles and villages where there was moments before desolate plain. Note how the children's active imagination see in the admixtures of dirt and water a new world, teeming with creatures and critters to be discovered and adventures to be explored, while you, who have been socialized into contemporary sanitation, see a mess needing to be cleansed and disinfected. The children, through the power of their imagination and their creativity, have entered into the deep reaches of human capacity simply by connecting with the mud. That's why I want you to have mud on your feet, and I want you to walk in the mud. And in so doing, join with the ancients who looked at that muck and felt the human connection so strongly that their earliest lore indicated that all of life was formed from the mud. Millennia before, modern scientists theorized about a primordial soup. Perhaps because they spent so much time in the mud, they concluded that it is the basic creative stuff of all of existence on this earth. Out of the mud springs the food that we depend on for life. I know I like that. In the mud lay the animals that humans first learned to domesticate. Out of the mud, we fashioned early forms of habitation, from rudimentary mud huts to something akin to complex apartment-like dwellings. Through the mud, paths and routes and roads were rounded out and pounded out, connecting the familiar, us, with the unfamiliar other in the earliest forms of transportation. I want you to walk in the mud where for the several millennia of our existence we have learned the cycles of growth and renewal associated with farming and cultivation. Cycles still reflected in the structuring of our institutional life, not the least of which is the academic year we still follow. Fortunately, the University of Massachusetts Boston community has not traditionally waited for formal construction projects in order to walk in the mud. Well before new buildings were conceived or official groundbreakings were scheduled, our students, our faculty and staff have been cultivating new efforts and breaking new grounds. The strategic plan implementation design teams and their work groups have been working feverishly in a very broad-based and communicative way to gather information and ideas in committee meetings, subcommittee meetings, department outreach meetings, and even pass someone in the hall and talk to them meetings. They are working very, very, very hard under the leadership of Provost Winston Langley and Dean Steve Crosby to keep this process open and as inclusive as is humanly possible, or as UMass Boston possible. Very shortly, they will be sharing their findings at an open meeting of the Faculty Council with the intention that all of you, everyone in this room and everyone who isn't in that room, can provide feedback to the process. In this way, we can all play a part in advancing our university, your university, towards its future. As has become quite typical of this time of year, a great deal of uncertainty remains around the Commonwealth's budget and the funding for higher education. This year, our governor does not have the luxury of calling me on the phone and saying, Keith, I have some stimulus funds to cover deficits in education, as he's done for the last 2 years. We will track this process closely. We will make every effort to pursue decisions that will have the least impact on our academic core and help us advance our strategic priorities. We continue to look to you for creative ways of running a bit leaner while remaining highly effective, of running a bit leaner but remaining highly effective. Enrollment management continues to reap a rich harvest that has grown into an exciting, dynamic, and vigorous student body Look at Stacia and all those that you're going to meet in a few minutes. The total spring 2011 undergraduate and graduate enrollment has increased by 8.6%. Should this increase remain consistent through the end of enrollment period, this university's student population will be 15,760 students, or 300 more than we've had last fall. The University of Massachusetts Board of Visitors, our Board of Visitors here on this campus, has been meeting throughout the last year. Board members on that board include 47 members, accomplished alumni, and individual leaders from the for-profit, nonprofit, and the public sectors. They're there to help this university realize its goals. The board agreed to focus primarily on plans for campus development, fundraising, and for alumni relations. That board will nurture and cultivate a large and growing group of ambassadors who, through their expertise and engagement, will contribute to the university's progress and to our rising reputation. We have a new slate, and I love this, of student officers for our student senate, and we have a new student trustee. I want to congratulate Bianca Balisari as our new elected student trustee for the academic year 2011 and 12. Bianca, are you here? Wave your hand if you're here. If not, but I know USGA President Travis Henderson and Vice President Dan McDowell, are you here? Yes. Hey, I just met our graduate president, Robert Goodwin, and so he told me that he wasn't dressed good enough to hang out with us today. He's trying to hide in the audience. There he is in his Arkansas. That's the part I didn't have a problem with how you was dressed. I had a problem with what you had on with your dress. From now on, I want to see that UMass Boston sweatshirt. You understand? Okay. We build them with the same kind of print, stitched in and everything. You'll look good in it. All right, but I'm looking forward to working with you. For all the members of our student government that have been elected, congratulations to you. But speaking of new presidents, we have a new president of the University of Massachusetts system. President-elect Robert Corrett will be here on campus on May 10th. We're going to have a full itinerary for the day, and you'll be receiving invitations to meet and greet the new leader of this system. He also is going to be at one of our special events that day. So I'm not telling you which one, just come to all of them. But you're going to know that he's on campus because we want you to participate. Some other news. For the second year in a row, the University of Massachusetts Boston has been named the Princeton Review's Guide of 311 green colleges. You can go to the website and check that out. But we've been picked because of our long-standing commitment to sustainability. I'm so proud of that. Now, the Princeton Review partners with the U.S. Green Building Council. They also have a website, and they evaluate colleges and universities on their environmentally related policies, practice, and campus infrastructure, and they also evaluate us on our academic offerings. This university is one of the greenest colleges in the country with a 96 green rating, and I'm so proud of that. The Beacons women's volleyball team clinched the 2010 Little East Conference Championship for the second year in a row, advancing all the way to the Elite Eight of the NCAA National Championship tourney at Washington University in St. Louis. I'm so proud of these women, and I'm so proud that my arm just gets heavier and heavier. I can't even lift my arm. But I tell you, if you can't see this ring, it's blinging. They made sure their chancellor was blinging. And every time I go to a meeting, I have to rub my face. Okay? I'm so proud. Colleagues, you are part of a university system which has been committed to cultivating the ground in preparation for the growth of a world-class university. Colleagues, you reap what you sow. The University of Massachusetts has been rated as one of the 200 best universities in the world by the Times of London 2010 World University Rankings. I know some of you say, and that's important. because it's the only public university in New England that has been rated and honored that way. You need to start feeling better about yourselves in all of the work that we do. We're 4th in Massachusetts and 6th in New England. It was the 14th highest rated American public university and the 33rd highest rated American institution, public or private. We share this honor proudly with all the other campuses. You should share that honor. You should tell everybody you know those statistics. Your university, the University of Massachusetts Boston, is also breaking ground on new knowledge and new collaborative relationships that serve the public good. Project Alerta was chosen as one of 15 programs out of 458 nominated to receive the 2010 National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award. Now, that's the highest honor an after-school and out-of-school program can receive. Now, I know some of you get upset when those kids cut in front of you in the line in the cafeteria. I hear it all the time. Oh, why are they here in the summer, Chancellor? Well, Lucia Meyerson David, founder of the project, took a Dorchester 5th grader to Washington, D.C. to receive an award of $10,000 from the First Lady right in the White House, Michelle Obama. Your university was on stage that day. Those children that we have given life to on this campus for our existence, 3,000 of them at a time, those folk went to Washington and made a difference. This university, the University of Massachusetts Boston, has been elevated to the top tier of university-based cancer research for achieving the highest, not the mid-range, not second, the highest score of all the proposals in the United States for our partnership with Dana-Farber Harvard Cancer Center. We've been awarded a prestigious $13.7 million U54 grant by the National Institute for Health. Specifically, this partnership will focus on understanding the reasons for significant cancer disparities and the impact on racial and ethnic minorities and socioeconomically disadvantaged or underserved populations. Thanks to the partnership's outstanding leadership team of University of Massachusetts Boston, Adon Cologne Camon, and Dana-Farber's Karen Edmonds, University of Massachusetts Boston joins the ranks of elite institutions that are waging war on cancer for the benefit of all of our people. The Institute for Community Inclusion at the University of Massachusetts Boston has been awarded a $16.8 million five-year grant, the largest single grant award in the university history from the U.S. Department of Education to help state vocational rehabilitation agencies help people with disabilities find paid work. Not volunteer, find paid work in their communities. The goal is to create a model for the state agencies, to train the agencies to implement the model and then evaluate its effectiveness. We look forward to the results of the ICI's efforts as they perform a national evaluation of existing state agencies. The Success Boston Report is finally being released under the leadership of our own Vice Provost for Academic Support Services, Joan Becker, with signatures from 30 other presidents or chancellors in Boston. Now you know how hard it is to get 30 of us in one room agreeing on anything. 30 folks have signed on because they want to work to improve the college completion rates of Boston public school students, knowing the implications for everyone else in that process. So our partnership and our level of engagement with our city to address these critical issues is second to none. The Center for Social Policy has been awarded a prestigious five-year, $500,000 grant by the Boston Foundation to support the center's work as the analytical and evaluation partner, focusing on the foundation's people and place-based investments and interventions in the Fairmont Corridor section of Boston. And the university is officially partnering with Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership to form the University of Massachusetts Boston Mentor Research Alliance, a first-of-its-kind center that will support the advancement of youth mentoring efforts throughout this country and beyond. The Alliance aims to create an open and an efficient exchange of youth mentoring research among research practitioners and policymakers with the ultimate goal of improving the lives of nation's underserved youth. Our own University of Massachusetts Boston professor of psychology, Jean Rose, the nation's leading expert on youth mentoring, will serve as the Alliance's first research director. As you give her a round of applause. In fact, give all of those folk a round of applause. Now, as we push forward into the future, new and creative academic programs are being proposed at the master's, doctoral, and certificate level, ever broadening our offerings to respond to the interests of our students and to our faculty. You can look for new programs in applied economics, global governance and human society, business administration, applied linguistics, transcultural and community studies, and on and on and on. If you're a student here, in the months and years to come, you're likely to be pointed toward new and expanding horizons. Don't get locked in, because there's going to be so much happening on this campus, it's going to make your head spin. Our continued efforts to build on the quality of our academic heritage are truly beginning to flower as our story unfurls to the world. U.S. News and World Report has ranked us finally. Our nursing program is ranked 50th nationally. The rehabilitation counseling program at 56. The clinical psychology program ranks 83rd, and the public affairs program sits at 90. The College of Science and Math has cracked the top 100 for the first time in its history, and the only nursing schools, and I don't even believe this, but they told me this, the only nursing schools in New England ranked higher than the College of Nursing and Health Sciences are Boston College and Yale. Now, I know we're number one. So we're going to pass Yale tomorrow and BC the next day, or vice versa, whoever's in whatever space. We're breaking new ground, not only nationally, we're breaking new ground internationally. We've implemented study abroad programs for faculty in Australia, Hong Kong, Portugal, Haiti, and Albania, and the Chancellor got to go to one of them. You got to get the Chancellor somewhere. In each case, faculty members have been accompanied by at least one student, no Chancellor. Trustees, you got to do something about that for their international studies. These efforts in support of faculty development are also opportunities to further orient the university in matters local and matters global. It's not that we're turning our backs on the community. We understand the implications of what we do here for the world, and now we're going to share that with somebody. What a noble thing to do. The mud that I wish for not only germinates with new life, new knowledge, and new ideas, it also is the foundation upon which human civilization is built. Cover it with the wonders of concrete, plastic, and glass. Landscape it by growing grass, plants, flowers, and trees. Plan it logically with the interconnections of roads, technology, institutions, and domiciles. Yet beneath it all, shifting and moving, living and breathing is the mud, the dirt, and the clay, from which we spring, still giving topographical shape, form, and boundary to the world we like to make ourselves believe we can control. And so we build. Just a few weeks ago, we held a powerful groundbreaking ceremony on the Edward M. Kennedy Center for the United States Senate. Senate. So many of you know that we waited to do all these other things we're getting ready to do until we were able to break ground on Senator Kennedy's building out of respect to the senator and his legacy and all his love for this university. But at that event, we had to show off. I'm sorry. We showed off at that groundbreaking event. 3 of your University of Massachusetts Boston students, Abel Ray Cannell, who's here, Neil McInnes Barker, and Juliet Riori, read the historic floor arguments of the senators in the heat of the debate around the 1964 civil rights legislation. Now, we broke ground on the 8th. April 9th would have been the anniversary of the senator's first speech on the Senate floor. Instead of the chancellor talking, we had to let the students do the talking for us. They demonstrated what the Kennedy Institute's all going to be about. I know those students are here. Wave your hands somewhere so these folks can see you. Give them a round of applause. I'm so proud that the senator made that phone call. I've kept the tape. Because people don't believe you when you tell them that Senator Kennedy called you at home on the phone. And he called and said, I want, in years to come, a center that will be the locus of education, preservation, and research and information regarding the Senate. The Senate that he served and the causes that he masterfully worked with and advocated for. We're proud to see this institution rising up out of the mud, out of the ground on our campus. And in just a few weeks, we will do it all over again, and I'm inviting everybody can hear me and everyone on this campus. Yes, we're going to hold another historic groundbreaking. You've seen the cranes, I hope. I've been lining them up so everyone can see them when they come down the highway. I hope you saw the trucks. I know you see the construction workers because I'm starting to see them everywhere. You'll hear the sounds and you're going to feel the rumble of pile drivers. On June 8th, we will hold another groundbreaking, and that's also the same day as the Board of Trustee meetings right on this campus. We're going to celebrate the launching of the construction of the Integrated Science Center, the first new academic building erected on Columbia Point campus since 1974. That is something that all of you all should be proud of. It's going to have, oh, you should be proud. There are going to be breathtaking views, and it's going to be set against our campus center. The Boston Harbor, as you've never seen it before. When you turn that corner to come on our campus, that building's going to hug you. And you're going to look up, and it's for all of you. It's not just the Science Center. And it's going to be rivaled. It's going to have such a glittering structure. And it'll be the entrance of our campus, which will signal that the University of Massachusetts Boston state-of-the-art teaching and our state-of-the-art research experience, both are second to none. And so when you come on this building, hello, it's going to be right there. But we're not stopping right there. You can't escape. I want to have disruption all over this campus for you. You're going to be calling the office, and we're going to make sure we manage some of that upset stuff. But mud's going to be flying everywhere. You're going to look in the Beacon's parking lot. It's not going to be there anymore. In March, we selected Wilson Architects, no relation to Jack Wilson, a Boston-based firm that specializes in academic building design, as the architects for the General Academic Building #1. They are second to none. The facility is slated to open in 2014. And it's going to define and frame the new Central Quad. That's going to be a Central Quad out there, Charlie. I'm sorry. I know it was tennis courts and soccer fields and all that. It's going to be a Central Quad that includes that. And an intersection of new pedestrian pathways through the campus. The building itself will feature state-of-the-art classrooms, specialized teaching spaces, as well as lounge and study spaces for the entire campus community. And it will also include much-needed new homes for several of our academic programs. The transformation of our campus will be a powerful collaboration of students, faculty, staff, and our unions. as exemplified by our PLA agreement. When I spoke to you about a pathway of excellence last year, I made a reference to the world-class research university at the end of the Mount Vernon corridor, looking out over the Atlantic, and some of you didn't even know I was talking about you. I'm talking about us. We connect to the rest of the world. In the wake of our Bayside property purchase last year, I said that we would work with stakeholders, commercial, community, and us, to surface the interests, the fears, and the concerns around the development of the property, and also garner input from all of you about what we should be doing next. I get tired of walking around campus and you ask me the question, Chancellor, what should we do with Bayside? Community, I said we're all chancellors. What should we do with Bayside? This week, we will be holding a stakeholders institution on Saturday, where everyone's going to be together to talk about that. Information will be shared. We're going to plunge our hands into the mud, fashioning images and also visions for what that property can be. We'll continue to move forward as responsible neighbors and citizens as we advance the construction of what we all envision to be a gateway to our pathway of excellence. The development of this great public research university will continue our pace. Our published master plan is but a plan created at a moment in time for what we foresee as the future of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. But it's only as we walk in the mud, in the real stuff of day-to-day learning, teaching, and engagement, that we clarify what really will come to be. So undoubtedly, new possibilities and aspirations are going to arise along the way. We welcome that. So you should not anticipate that the day will come where there'll be no more mud to negotiate, no dirt to avoid, and where the messiness of real, not imagined, university life will end. We will keep building, we will keep growing, because our roots are planted deeply by the founders who established this institution to stand with the city, by the Boston State College ethos of education for service, and by a student body, faculty, and staff who continue the quest for new expressions of the meanings for excellence. Finally, colleagues, I wish you mud on your shoes, because I want you to leave tracks behind that tell others where we have been. This may seem like a strange thing to wish for, particularly for any of you parents like me that fight the good fight against filth in the household with your young children just tracking up the house all the time. But without those tracks, others who come behind us will not know our work and the importance of our struggle through these times. I want faculty to build on our work, not simply repeat it. They will need some of you to be their mentors, to orient them to our academic norms, and then to help propel them into the best work. That's tracking mud through our halls. I want students from our communities to take advantage of the resources of this institution and all that that brings, and not simply come to class and hurry up to get home. We need students like some of you that are right in this room to talk to others about your experience and how they've helped you grow through some of these experiences, how this university has helped you do that. You help them to see themselves studying abroad, achieving honors, also leading organizations. That's tracking mud through our halls. I want administrators and staff to bring new and creative ideas and approaches that will extend upon what's in place. They will need some of you to help them navigate the complexity and culture of the University of Massachusetts, Boston, with an ethic of care and a concern for excellence. That's tracking mud through our halls. Again, my wish for mud on your shoes should not be confused with my excitement for new construction. Rather, I have made this wish because of what I see in you. If you connect with the best in human endeavors, the best in human creativity, the best in human thought, when we come together to cultivate this precious sacred space that we've been granted to steward, I see limitless possibilities before us. Possibilities before which they're not just mere buildings. Mere buildings pale in stature to the possibilities I see every time I encounter one of you. Eliminating disparities in education and health for underrepresented peoples. Setting the tone for an international environment. Sea change in thinking and behavior. Creating blueprints for peaceful resolutions to long-standing historical conflicts. Spurring economic recovery for a state and a nation weary of recession-like thinking. Empowering distressed communities through the application of democratic principles. Unleashing the dynamism of youth movements to break the cycles of violence in our culture. These and so much more are the muddy footprints many of you have already begun, tracking through our halls every day, our communities, our Commonwealth, our nation, and world, and are changed because you meld mind and heart with a Herculean effort all of this work. You have focused on solutions to some of our most vexing problems. I commend you. I thank you for your tremendous contributions under difficult circumstances. Thank you for cultivating the relationships, resources, and opportunities that have brought us to the brilliant point that we are in our history. As this university begins to reap the facilities, resources, and recognition from the seeds of faith and efforts sown by so many of you in this room, I would simply encourage you to keep tracking the mud and lead others to the patch of earth on this peninsula where we grow. Leaders for the next generation. We're the best. Thought, reflection, and planning to support our complex civilization germinates, and where new knowledge is constantly cultivated and reseeded, where people and groups come to connect, engage, and nourish relationships, where new structures to support excellence in learning and research are founded, where solutions to the world's most vexing problems are cultivated, where together we can increase the depth and the width of the footprint that is the University of Massachusetts, Boston, and where the fruit of our collective labor is transforming lives every day, transforming communities, and is transforming this world. Thank you all for all that you do. I am honored to be your Chancellor and proud to be among you. This has been the blessing of a lifetime. Let's go forward together and make a difference in the lives of all those we know that we can. We have plenty of work to do. Get that mud on your shoes. Thank you.